Hello, I'd like to discuss custom reporting from the aspect of the add-in. The add-in is crucial to Excel and provides the functionality to import and format the input XML document that contains all the information as discussed previously. So what we're going to talk about is this part right up here, the add-in. And what it ends up doing, as I mentioned, is executing the XML mapping and then allows you to print these reports, and that's what I'll show you. What I suggest doing as I look at the templates that are provided for you is to take an existing template and make a copy of it. I do not suggest editing the originals. So what I'm going to do is open that qualifier ratio template up. Here is the template. And what I'm going to do is show you how to extend the macros to execute another piece of logic. So I'm going to go right over here to the Visual Basic and show you first where the add-in is. Here's the add-in with the modules that do all the work. What I'm going to do is go to this workbook, which is in this copy that I've made, and I'm going to add a piece of code that I've got here to that workbook. The code doesn't do a tremendous amount, but shows the open door for extending these reports. In this case, it just puts up a message box when it intercepts the before print event. So I'm going to save that copy, and then I'm going to go and I'll just save the template again to make sure, and I'll start up the template. Now you notice that this time I start up the template, it does notice that there is a macro and warns me because the templates that come with the product have certificates on them. I'll discuss that in a separate section. What I'm going to do is manually enable these, and I'll see the template again. So I'm going to basically run this Excel document as a standalone subsystem. Using the add-in at the top here, I'm just going to process the report manually, which is basically the same thing the application does. So I will take this small amount of data and run against some results, reporting results that have already been saved. You'll notice that it does the importing and the formatting, and here I end up with my report. So far, so good. Now let me do the printing, which would be automated, and you'll notice the message box that's popped up here from the macro that I added, and on I would go to printing. So that demonstrates the usefulness of adding a macro. And I will also show you that you could extend that by, in this case, I'll show you an example here of where if you wanted to send out an email message, here's some code in Visual Basic application that could be added to extend that macro to send you a message when you were sending your report to the printer. That gives you an idea of the design and the extendable architecture that's available in custom reporting. Thank you. All right, continuing with the qualifier ratio report, what I'll do now is clear the results as I'm working with the template, and I'll just go back to the template without any information in it. I will, before I leave, go and reduce the security on the macro to low, just so I don't have to deal with it in the automation mode. The certificate is what works with the templates that you're given with the product, so that they don't have to ask for security each time. So let me exit the template, and I'll start it up from the actual application. But what I'm going to do here is generate a report using that particular copy of the qualifier ratio that I had a moment ago. So let me pick that copy and I'll start up that report. I'll also pick a printer here. Let me just send it to a local printer. So now it's in the queue, and I'll look at it in the queue viewer. We'll watch that report crank up. Here it is right here. And I'll talk in the meantime about the macros and the add-in. The add-in is really macros that have been put into a file called .xla, and those are available to be loaded in the Excel application and gives you additional functionality based on the Visual Basic for Applications paradigm. You can, with Visual Basic for Applications, trigger other objects in the Windows system that are COM objects, and basically that extend the system to do pretty much anything you wanted. So at this point the task is started. It is going to first generate the graphics and then run Excel. So at this point here we see Excel popping up at the user interface, the message that we had put into that macro, and it wants to start printing. So the next thing that it will do, if we look directly into Excel, is that would trigger the printing, and now it's finished. So that demonstrates the ability to extend the templates with a macro and then to have it integrated into the application so that reports that run through the application could, for example, generate an email through that macro, or basically do any other piece of automation that you wanted to happen. Thank you for your attention.